So Ken and Trish meet up with Maurice and Kimmy, and they immediately start lying. Like, this is how we start off episode 2. Let's get into it. So Ken and Trish meet up with Maurice and Kimmy, and they sit down at like some restaurant or whatever, and they are talking about the situation that happened with Marquez and Sharon, Trish's friend, and Trish the other day. These people immediately start lying and changing the story around. Ken is really going off of whatever Trish told him, and Ken is making up his own narrative, and so they're both telling the story to Kimmy and Maurice, and Kimmy and Maurice is like, ain't no way you're gonna be able to spin this from a whole nother perspective, because from the way they telling it, this dude came and kicked the door down and was like, ooh, up here, blah, blah, blah. Like, that wasn't even the case. Like Marquez came in, he like peeped around, didn't have no bags though, mind you. Peeped around, and then when he walked in, the girl was like, so since you here, I'm sharing. Anybody would be like, okay, who are you? Like, so was y'all just talking about me or something? Like, I'm confused now. Like, then Trish tried to say that they was yelling at each other, this, that, and the third. I'm like, Trish, you're low-key lying right now, because there was no, there was no, like, he yelling. They got loud with him. And the minute he said relax, suddenly, like, it became bigger than what it was. The girl was just giving him the third degree, and he just like, chill out, I don't even know who you are. And Trish and the girl's just like, I can't believe you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, he wasn't invited by you. Sure, if that's how you want to spin it, then the kids can't ever invite him to the house, because if you don't want him there, if you ain't invite him, then he's technically unwanted guest. Okay, fine. At what point, though, are you going to be like, I should have never took it there with him in front of my friend? Because Trish just said, I want people to see the chaos. I want people to see the chaos. Why? Why do you want people to see the chaos? And Kimmy and Maurice is just sitting there like, I don't really know what to tell you, because at the same time, we had this same issue when I was messing around with Kimmy before I got married, and my ex-wife was looking like this girl came and messed up our reconciliation. Kimmy used to be like, Kaya was saying all this stuff about me. There was never a point where we were like, oh yeah, Kaya was wrong. Kaya is like disparaging Kimmy's character. And it's crazy to me how Kimmy and Maurice are the biggest disparaging people's character people on the show. And when you have Trish, who legit be lying on Marquez, does that, they don't say nothing to be like, oh, I don't think it's right that you disparaging his character. I also want to know, like, how during the reunion they're going to feel about the fact that Trish lied about that whole situation, because she did. Like, she made it seem like it's something that it wasn't. And I'm like, at what point are people going to be like, I got to hold Trish at arm's length because she be lying? If everybody says Martell is a big old liar, then I wouldn't want to fool with Trish either, because Trish is a liar. I still think Trish done did some stuff with Martell. Like, they lied about that. And everybody was like, okay, Trish, we know you a liar when it comes to that. I'm not finna just blatantly believe anything you say about your baby daddy / husband. He got his side to the story too. Kimmy said, you can't have two sides to the story. Yes, you can, especially when you watch that footage, because Trish is just sitting over here lying, like making basic lies. Then you're gonna have Ken be like, when you go up to the school, the teachers don't know who you are. The teachers know who I am. All these people that heard dance stuff, they know who I am. They don't know who you are. Ken was like, these are your kids, but this is my family. What? Huh? Like, okay, Ken, that's off. First of all, if the man don't live in the city, how would the teachers know who he is? If he been moved away to Atlanta for 3-4 years, or however long Trish want to tell it today, why, she's supposed to be in like middle school? No, middle school 3 years. How would the teachers know who he is? He been gone her whole time in middle school. I'm confused. Like, they don't know who he is. Like, what are you talking about, Ken? You going up to the school because you want to be involved in these kids' life, because you know the way to a single mother is through the kids. So of course you're gonna do everything for the kids and make them feel good about this, that, and the third. Like, oh yeah, this man in my life compared to my daddy who live in a whole nother city. I get your game, Ken, but at the same time, it's just like, bro, this would have hit harder had Marquez been living in the same city as Trish and the kids the whole time. That would have been like, oh yeah, he legit a deadbeat. Like, they live in the same city and the kids' school teachers don't even know who he is. You know, the dance people don't know who he is. They ain't never seen him at a recital. That would have hit harder if he lived in the same city. But he lived in a whole nother city. Of course, he not around. Like, duh. He's literally not around. What you talking about? So we get to the scene with Martell and Destiny, right? And I don't know about y'all, but every time Martell and Destiny do a scene together, it always gives like, you forgot to kiss me this morning before you left. Like, it's always giving that. I don't know. So when they meet up at the furniture store, Martell is telling Destiny that he is moving Ariane, her kid, and his kid that he shares with her to the rental property that he shares, that he owns or whatever. And so Destiny, at first, he was like, yeah, I'm moving Ariane into my crib. And Destiny's like, how if I live there? Like, that's what Destiny was giving. She was like, how she gonna move there and I'm staying there? Like, she gonna stay in the room with us? Or, like, how that's gonna work? And then he was like, no. I'm putting her in my investment property. And Destiny was like, oh, okay, yeah, because where I'm supposed to go if we live together and you finna move her in, that don't make sense. And then they start talking about how Martell is thinking about marrying her. I don't believe that. Because everything he said, he was like, she cook, she clean, and then she finna start going to nursing school. Nurses are one of the most, like, laborious, time-consuming jobs to have. Like, being a nurse is one of the most time-consuming jobs to have. So I'm confused how he wants Ariane to be a homemaker, but also be a nurse. Especially as young as she is compared to him. It just don't make sense because it's like everything that you scrutinize Mel for, working too long, not being able to cook and clean or take care of the kids, is going to fall on the mistress. Because if you're a nurse, she gonna be working like 12, 14-hour day, like, shifts. Like, even though it ain't Monday through Friday, what if it is? She ain't gonna be able to come home and cook and clean and take care of the kids and help with homework and do all that stuff too. Like, Mel did say that Martell did help. Like, she never really bad-mouthed him as a father. And so when he does that with Mel, I'd be like, it's going to happen to Ariane too, because she's not going to be able to do all these things in the long run. Like, you're not going to be able to have these mentalities of what you want in a wife, and then you also want her to work full-time. She can't work full-time and also be a full-time homemaker. So I just don't really see where any of that is going when it comes to him and her and their whole situation. Like, Destiny was like, have you even been looking at rings? And Martell basically was like, no. But he was, of course, he's going to lie and say, yeah. For me, I feel like the only rings that he's been looking at is the ones that Ariane has been sending him. Like, look at these, babe. Look at these. I like this one. I like that one. Like, that's the rings that I feel like Martell has been looking at. Not going on Tiffany or Jay or Jared or Kay's and being like, ooh, she might like this. I don't see him doing that at all. At all. I see the only time he on them websites is because she sent him the link. He looked at it, clicked off, and was like, yeah, that's nice. Come on now. Then this man was like, to be honest, I'm still stuck on my divorce that happened 5 years ago.
You're still stuck on the divorce?
Like, Mel has moved on. It's obvious that he's still stuck on it because he don't want her to move on. He'd be like, oh, she got boyfriends, this, that, and the third. There's a reason why he slipped up and said, yeah, we can't live together until we marry, because that's in the clauses. Like, you can't live with her. She can't live with you, and that's why you don't want Mel to have nobody and live with nobody, because you feel like if Mel be lonely enough, she gonna come crawling back to you. Like, he's still stuck on the divorce because he's still in disbelief that Mel left him. Like, he really thought Mel was gonna be like Tisha and stay with him despite the fact that he does all these things, and that's why he's stuck on it, because he's just like, I just really can't believe Mel didn't stay like Tisha did. And that's why he's so mad at Tisha and Marceau, because Tisha and Marceau is living out Martell's fantasy of, I get to cheat on my wife, live in a whole different house, come and go as I please, And she's staying with me. And all I got to do is say, well, I'm going to build you a new house so we can all live together. Blah, blah, blah. By the time they done with that house, all them kids going to be graduated from college. So they end their scene talking about Destiny and Lance. And Destiny's just like, honestly, me and Lance were dating, but it just never became anything more than just us going out on dates. And I can respect that, because it's just like, that's the whole purpose of dating. Like, you're supposed to go out, get to know each other, see if it can be more, and if it can't, fizzle out. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. And I feel like the fact that Lance does have so much going on in his life, and he's like 10 years younger than Destiny, it is like a big difference in their life stages right now. Like, Destiny's child is in like school now, and granted, Lance does have older children. He just had a new baby, not with the baby mom. The baby is like a newborn. Like, yeah, he got a lot going on right now. And low key, no shade, I would be just like Destiny and be like, I think Lance need to figure out what he got going on before he try to start dating anybody else, especially me, because I'm single and I'm ready to mingle. And hey, I can't fault Destiny for that. Then you had the low down dirty no wig dog gonna be like, oh, well, you should just let me coach you so I can help you get a man. Girl, because you had a wife and a girlfriend, you think that you can be somebody's relationship coach? You don't have a wife anymore, and you can't even live with your girlfriend. So how is Destiny gonna get anything from you besides how to cheat and get a baby? And it's gonna be harder for her, because she gonna have to have a baby, not be able to get somebody pregnant and then go on to the next one. Like, Destiny can't be a Lance. You could probably teach Lance how to get a girl doing what you do, but not Destiny. So we get to the construction site of Scott Manor that is 6 years in production. We've been working on it since 2019, according to Tisha. The kids are sharing one bathroom. What happened to the house? Like, the house they live in. Why is the kids sharing one bathroom? I thought y'all was done with the renovations on the house. Why are we renovating the house and building the mansion at the same time, and it's taking forever for anything to be done? Why is the kids still sharing one bathroom? They've been doing that for like the last few years now. There's a reason why Kimmy don't want Marceau to work on her stuff. There's a reason why Kimmy don't want Marceau to work on her stuff, because it's like, whoa, it's taking y'all 6 years to prep the ground, and now y'all finally like building the property. Marceau is out there in a full boots on the ground jean jumpsuit with a beanie on. Only put the hard hat on when Tisha and the kids came up, because we saw him on that thing with no hard hat. He had on a beanie. Then you put the kid hard hat. You put a hard hat on the kids just for them to go sit in the car. Why is the kid still sharing one bathroom? What's going on with the renovations on the house? Why are you starting more stuff and not finishing them? So they get into the projects that Marceau is working on. Jordan Lane, another house that they working on that looks way more finished than Scott Manor, Tisha's brokerage office. And Tisha's like, well, I want my brokerage office done before anybody else projects. Tisha, you need to get the dang on renovations to the house done before anything, so the kids can stop sharing one bathroom. MJ's gonna be able to go get his own bathroom in an apartment before Scott Manor's gonna be done. Then it's gonna be 2 kids sharing one bathroom. Marcel's gonna be like, well, it's less kids, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's gonna use this to prolong everything. I like the part where they was bragging on their kids. Like I was saying in my last video, like, their kids really do give, like, being raised really well. And I do commend them on that, because I really appreciate that. They said their kids off Panos. They said that MJ finna go off to college. He wants to go to Michigan. Tisha's like, I don't want him to go that far. Tisha Hockey want MJ to go to Alabama A&M so she can be able to get in the car and see him or whatever. I feel like Tisha is going to be that mom that gets an apartment wherever her child goes, so she can be like, oh, we're just coming up for the weekend, blah, blah, blah. That's going to be Tisha. Tisha then goes on to say, 2025 is my year. I'm claiming it. Mel's gone. I'm the star of the show. I'm going to be able to take over, and it's going to be Tisha Takeover 2025. Go ahead, Tisha. I don't see it for you, but if that's your vision, that's your vision. Claim it. You claiming it? Claim it, girl. Because I don't see it for you, but if that's how you feel, then go. You go, girl. You go in your lavender. So Maurice meets up with Marquez, and he's like basically saying, I feel like Trish and Ken are lying, so I'm going to meet up with Marquez to get his side of the story. And Marquez basically says, like, I walked in, dropping the daughter off, and the friend just started giving me the third degree, and I'm just like, who are you? I don't know, because then that to me, it just makes everything, like, put into perspective. Like, whenever they get the other side of the Trish and Ken Marquez saga, it's always like a whole nother narrative than what it was supposed to be, what it was told in the beginning. So people are just like, can't nobody believe y'all because everybody's story sounds differently. At what point is it going to all be the same story, or at least like there's a little bit of variation? But no, every time the story gets told, it's always different, especially with Trish. Trish gonna tell that story 40 different times until somebody actually be like, you know what, Trish, I believe you. Girl, ain't nobody checking for that. Then Maurice is like, so what's up with, like, why is this even still a thing? And Marquez is like, well, honestly, I just stayed because I wanted to prove my dad wrong. He said we wasn't going to last 5 years together. And so when we hit them 5 years, I was like, yeah, I can do this. I can keep going. Then he was like, he low-key checked out in year 10. So Maurice is like, so if you don't want to be there and you leave, and then she be like, well, yeah, you right, you gone, let's just break up and get a divorce, why you still tried to stay? And Marquez is like, well, Trish never said that she didn't want me no more. And Maurice is like, well, she filed for divorce. Marquez was like, well, no, actually, I filed for divorce first, which we did see, what was it, last season? Last season when Marquez had gave Trish those divorce papers, and Trish was looking crazy, like she couldn't even finish the rest of her food because she was sick to her stomach, that she had been finally served with the divorce papers that she said nobody ever filed for. Because she told, who was that, Melody, I ain't even filed for divorce yet. And everybody was like, but you got a whole boyfriend? How that work? But you ain't filed for divorce, but you keep bad-mouthing this guy? That don't make sense. Maurice was like, well, didn't she filed though, right? And Marquez like, yeah, because Ken made her. And yes, Ken did like strong arm her last season. Was like, Trish, you need to go ahead and file for divorce so we can get together. Like, the minute you file for divorce, we could go ahead and like officially get engaged and be a couple, blase, blase. That's why Trish didn't want to file for divorce, because she don't want to marry Ken. And I don't understand why Ken don't understand that. Like, she doesn't want to marry you. Like, every time he brings up marriage, Trish tries to change the subject to Marquez, because that's who Trish really wants to be married to. But Marquez is a child, and to be a child with children, ain't nobody gonna want to be with you. Like, I need you to grow up first. And I feel like the minute Marquez changes and grows up finally, Trish is gonna be like, okay, let's get back together. Because she said herself, I don't see him changing for real. There's an underlying motive. Do you think the motive is to get back with you? Like, seriously, like, do you think the motive is to get back with you? Because it gives that they would get back together in a heartbeat. But I'm just trying to figure out, like, why are we stringing Ken along in this thing when he clearly wants a family? So Maurice is low-key trying to talk some sense into Marquez and like, bro, she don't want you the way you think she do. Even though I feel like everybody else believes that, though. Like, I feel like everybody believes the same thing Marquez does. At least the viewers. Like, she low-key kind of do want him, because why didn't she file for divorce? Why did it take your boyfriend the 4 years that you got immediately after your husband left you, take 4 years to be like, hey, when are you going to file for divorce? And then your ex-husband files, and so you be like, okay, well, I'm gonna file too. Yeah, it gives that she would get back with him, low-key. Marquez has the nerve to be like, I gave Trish to Ken, and Ken should be thankful that you left your family. What are you saying? Shut up, Marquez. You sound stupid. Then Marquez was like, I want us to be able to, in my fantasy world, my son gonna live with me. My daughter's gonna go to Juilliard for dance. Ken's gonna be my my guy and Trish is gonna be my girl again. Not like relationships, because I'm gonna have a girlfriend. Trish and Ken gonna be together, but we all gonna be able to go on vacation together. And Maurice was like, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. And Marquez is like, so you don't be doing that with your ex-wife? Like, what's the situation there? And Maurice was like, no, we don't talk like that. We're not cool like that. Duh, because you had cheated on your ex-wife with Kimmy. Or at least got with Kimmy during y'all's separation period when the wife was trying to reconcile and you had a whole another girlfriend. Yeah, y'all not gonna be cool. Y'all, last time she was on the show and had an actual role, y'all brought her on here to attack her and be like, why you talk bad on Kimmy? Y'all will never have a good relationship or ever be cool for real. Let's be honest. So Tisha's riding around in the car with her son because it's his 18th birthday and they have no destination in sight, it looks like. And she's talking to him about him going away to college and if he gonna miss her. And like I said earlier, Tisha is going to get a townhouse wherever that boy go to school so she could go be on campus with him, sit in the class with him and be like, this is my baby, y'all. Don't mess with him. No, he can't talk to no girls, y'all. Even though I want him to talk to girls, y'all, don't talk to him. That's gonna be Tisha. And then the son, she was like, then Tisha was like, so are you gonna miss me at all? And he was like, not really. And I'm like, how are you not gonna miss the person that cooks your food, cleans your room, washes all your clothes, takes you everywhere you need to go? Because I definitely missed my mom when I went to college because I missed having somebody that took care of me and I had to take care of myself. This boy gonna say I'm gonna miss more of my dad because he's a pillar for me and you're just the line that keeps me straight. And Tisha's like, I do everything for you in your life. Your dad almost killed you trying to feed you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when you are deathly allergic to peanuts. What are you talking about? He's a pillar and I'm just a line. Yeah, the line that keeps you alive, the lifeline. I am your lifeline, not just a line that keeps you straight. I'm the line that keeps you alive. What are you talking about? You sounds like a boy who's raised by his dad who be like, yeah, you need a man in your life to teach you how to be a man and blah, blah, blah. Not to keep you alive, but to teach you how to be a man, I guess. I don't know. I was just like, when I saw that, everything I was like, oh, they raised him right, I went out the window. Because I'm just looking like, what is you talking about, MJ? Like, you're not going to... I mean, I can understand finally being able to get some breathing room from Tisha because she does give smother, especially to her son. So I can get where he's like, to be honest, I'm going to be glad to finally be able to breathe instead of you suffocating me all the time. And she's just like, well, it's till death do us part. And I'm like, well, he's not your husband. Marceau is till death do you part. Or do y'all just not even care about that no more because y'all been in a relationship for the decade of 20 years? So we get to the least interesting couple on the show, Trish and Ken, again. And they are, again, talking about Marquez and how Trish is going to sit in on a conversation with Marquez and Ken. Honestly, just so she could cause conflict. And they're going to invite the friend so Marquez can apologize to her. Honestly, I feel like apologies can be held all around because the friend definitely overstepped her boundary to be like, so since you here, like, girl, she need to apologize to him too because she, like, first of all, Ken keeps saying everybody need to know their role. The friend should have knew her role and not even said anything at all. She should have been like, oh, are you Marquez? Nice to meet you. I'm Sharon. I've heard so much about you. Then they could have went there, but she was already on it like, oh, good, since you was here, because we just talked about you. Girl, Ken, what you talking about? Everybody need to know their role when you don't know your role in stepping back when this man do come around and say, okay, let me be more in my kids' lives. And you like, no, because it's my family now. You need to know your role too because that's his family. Those kids are his family. Trish might be his ex-wife, but those kids are his family. You can't just take his family because you live with the girlfriend. Like, that sounds so crazy to me. And then they always be like, every time Marquez comes around is a problem. And that is not true because the last conversation Ken and Marquez had, it was very civil. It went pleasant. Like, they got their point across and it was going to be something cool. And then the minute Ken talks to Trish, she's like, well, I don't want you talking to him at all because I don't want y'all to be in a good relationship. Why? Like, the problem isn't when Marquez comes around. The problem is when Trish and Marquez are around each other because Trish doesn't want Marquez around. Ken is more willing to have Marquez around in their family dynamic than Trish is, and that's her kid's father. Like, so Marquez finally gets there, and the first thing he say is, "Where my drink at?" And Trish already goes off like, "How dare you ask for a drink when we sitting down with our drinks and you think you finna get a drink? You ain't finna get no drink around here. You don't live here. I'm still mad that you barged in my house the other day." And Marquez is like, "I'm not finna let my daughter walk in with 3 bags and 2 drinks by herself." Like, you can't keep saying you were uninvited when your child is being dropped off. Granted, nobody wants strangers in their home, but Marquez is not a stranger. Marquez didn't barge in your house. Like, he came in, helped the girl allegedly, and was about to leave. Looked like he had every intention to speak, but then y'all didn't even give him a chance before y'all jumped down his throat. Like, the lady walks in and he's like, "I don't even know this lady," and she was just giving me all of her business, and I'm just like, what's going on? And Trish is like, "Well, no, actually she was just feeding off of my energy." Exactly, Trish. Marquez gets you riled up. Like, exactly, Trish. Marquez gets you riled up, so of course she's feeding off your energy. The only energy she knows that is supposed to be given to Marquez is hostility, because that's the energy you give off every time you speak on him. Like, Marquez dropping off his daughter is a problem for you, which is crazy, because like, you shade him for not being in the kids' lives, but then when he tries, you be like, "See, you just doing this because it's such a..." What is he doing? Dropping off the daughter? Is he supposed to get cookies for dropping off his daughter? No, he was just doing that because he wanted to do that. Like, you mad because the son called him and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm finna go pick up my sister," and he was like, "Nah, I'll do it instead." What is you talking about, Trish? Why you ain't pick up the daughter? So you can meet with your friends, so y'all could talk mess about Marquez, and you knew he was finna show up because Marquez was mic'd up? Let's not act like Marquez wasn't mic'd up. Like, let's not act like he wasn't mic'd up, ready for the scene to be shot. Okay? Then when Marquez finally speaks to Sharon, he's like, "You know what? I apologize. Nice to meet you," because she ain't introduced us. I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm going to apologize for what went down the other day because it wasn't cool of me. That's a problem for Trish too. Trish giving him like, "Well, you only apologizing because we want you to." First of all, you never even told him yet that you wanted him to apologize to the girl. You just brought her over because you were going to be like, "Oh yeah, and you need to apologize to my friend." That's why he just did it off rip, and he ain't even wait for you to do it, just like he ain't wait for you to introduce them, because you ain't do that either. Like, Trish really said that Marquez should have waited at the doorstep while the daughter brought everything in and he just stood there and holding all the stuff. Nobody would do that. Nobody in their right mind is doing nothing like that. That just sounds silly. I'ma just wait at the doorstep because Ken not here. How you know Ken not there? Nobody knew that. Like, the friend didn't even know that until you had told her when she showed up. So he wasn't gonna know that. Y'all don't talk, allegedly. So how is he supposed to know? Like, "Oh, I'm just wait at the doorstep because Ken not there." His son was there. Your son was there. And how you ain't know that your son ain't never leave the house when you said that he was going to pick up the sister? He came from downstairs. He came from downstairs. He didn't come from out the door, from outside. He came from downstairs. So basically, you telling me, shut up to it, Trish. Shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. So they're still going back and forth about why Trish and Ken and Marquez can't get along. And Marquez is like, "Well, Trish always be doing stuff with the kids and traumatizing the kids." And Ken's like, "The kids ain't traumatized. What you talking about?" Them kids definitely got something, though, because y'all always fighting when the kids are home. Like, yeah, that does something to those kids. Like, if you feel like you can speak on how the kids feel about their daddy, then that means you're talking to them about it, and they talking to you and like, "Yeah, I miss my dad. This whole situation is messed up," right? Like, they're saying that. They have to be saying that if you know that they feel a certain type of way about what's going on. So they definitely feel some type of way. Like, they may not be traumatized, but they definitely are experiencing trauma with their parents arguing and their mom's boyfriend always wanting to beat up their dad. That's traumatic. That's traumatizing. Like, if I ever saw that in my life, I would have been like, I want to move away. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Then he go tell Marquez I get these your kids, but this my family. And Marquez, even the friend is like, that sound weird. What is you talking about? This is not your family. Y'all not married. Like, Marquez is like, define family. And he's like, because I live here. Okay, Ken. So Marquez is like, you can't just say the kid's not traumatized just because you be over there and taking them to dance and stuff. Like, Ken is like, I was just at my ex-girlfriend's daughter football game. So what you talking about? I be there for everybody kids, and they don't be there. I really wonder, do Ken be having these conversations with the other girl daddy too? Or is that just solidified, okay, Ken the new daddy for her and I just can take a step back? Like, is Ken trying to collect other people's kids like Thanos rings, like Infinity Stones? Because that's what it's giving. Like, why do you... I'm with Marquez. Like, you're not getting cool points for being my wife's live-in boyfriend that's helping her out. Like, you're not getting cool points for that. You throw that stuff in people's face all the time that you be doing stuff for them. You help Trish. You throw that in her face last season. You helping out with the kids. You throwing that in Marquez's face. Like, what is Ken's motive by doing all these things? Because it's giving Ken is just wants accolades and praise for doing basically like the right thing. And it's just like, you were doing the right thing. You don't need to get praised for it. Like, what? Like, you don't... I'm with both of them. Marquez, you're not getting cool points for taking care of your child. Ken, you're not getting cool points for taking care of other people's children. Like, yes, that is a good thing yes, that is a good thing that you're doing. But no, you're not getting cool points for that, because at the same time, you are bad-mouthing the father. You could just be like, I don't really got no association with dude, but I'm just here because these are my girl's kids and I want to take care of her and her kids. No, it always comes with, yeah, because Marquez is a bad father. You don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to do that. Trish does it enough for everyone. Trish is always going to badmouth Marquez because Marquez left her. And then when he was out of sight, out of mind, you swooped in and swept her off her feet. And now she's just like, good, I with the biggest thing up in here and he can beat you down because you get on my nerves. That's all it's given with their relationship. And Marquez brings up, look, just like when I called the divorce courts and they was like, well, we got to get a court trial because Trish put on the thing that y'all don't have no minor kids together. And Marquez was like, yes, we do. We got a whole child that's in like middle school. What is you even talking about? So now they got to have a court date. Here come Ken shoving the divorce papers that he made Trish file in Marquez's face, getting aggressive. And I'm glad that the friend was there to see, like, it don't really be Marquez all the time. Marquez and Ken were talking and Trish just kept chiming in, taking digs. It's not always Marquez. Like, it's not always Marquez. And I'm so glad that the friend was there because Trish was like, people don't always see the chaos. The friend said, no, we see the chaos. It's all on the show. Now that I'm here in person, I see that it's more than what y'all trying to make it out to be. Like, y'all is giving liars when it comes to the Marquez, Ken, and Trish relationship. So, yeah, y'all do need a witness because everything y'all say, y'all take it there. It don't always be him. Like, he be straight, and then y'all be like, blah, 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 blah. You're a bad father. You don't show up. You're not there. Blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, bro, he doesn't live in the city. Of course, they can only do FaceTimes and texts and calls. Now that he's in the city, let the man be with his kids. Let the man spend time with his kids. Like, you can't just take this man's family away from him because you now live with their mom. And now you can't live with their mom. So it ain't no more family. It ain't no more family. This my family. Because y'all don't live together no more. Y'all legally cannot live together anymore until Trish agrees to marry you, which she will never do. So the episode ends with Ken being hella aggressive towards Marquez because Marquez is like, Trish didn't put the kids on the divorce agreement, and so I had to contest it, and now our court case got reassigned. Ken and Trish get super aggressive, all in this man's face. He's sitting down. They shoving the paper in his face like, nah, see, look at it. And it's just like, bro, you're not proving a point. Like, these could be whole new papers. Like, you snatched the paper out the friend hand. Like, y'all is the chaos. Y'all is the ones getting up, getting in his face, doing all this. And then the minute he stands up, because it's given he about to leave, Ken's like, yeah, get out, get out, get out. You always walking in my house. You always walking in my house. Well, it ain't your house no more, Ken, because you had to move out. So now you trying to fight this man. The kids are home. You're trying to fight him. Y'all in here yelling. Like, how is that not traumatizing to the kids? What did you talk? To be continued, as the episode says, and we will continue this in the next one. Let me know what you guys think about the episode in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share the video to everybody that you can. I will be here in the next one, ready to read these people again for filth, because I'm just so tired of everybody that is involved with this show, okay? Love you guys. Bye.